morning, friends. I have just turned the washing machine on. I hope you can't hear that and it's really unpleasant and noisy, but today I am planning to make some banana bread. I've taken some bananas out of the freezer, but I need butter, so we're heading to the shops. I really love the mixer that I use for baking. It's one that I got from my baking aunt when she upgraded to a KitchenAid, and I have to say I would never upgrade away from this. One of the things that I really like about it is that it has two different bowl sizes, and here I am using the smaller one, which is perfect when you're baking smaller things like just one loaf of banana bread. It does get a bit full when you add in walnuts when I'm making banana bread, but it still fits. Here I am lining the loaf pan with parchment paper, and I really like this little trick I have of just folding the sheet so that it fits into the pan. This way means that the pan stays really clean and nothing gets crusted or baked onto the pan, which is really good. It can be a little bit fiddly to do. It's a bit simpler if you cut the ends instead of folding them, and that just makes it easier to fold in together. But I kind of couldn't be bothered going to get the scissors for this one. And it's a little bit fiddly to put in, but it works just fine. This way kind of means that there's no way for the batter to get in through where you have cut and onto the pan, which is kind of the whole point. So I do sort of prefer this method anyway. It just needs a bit of faffing about trying to make sure that the folds are kind of in the right place. While that's in the oven, it is time to get our craft on. I was in such a rush finishing off yesterday's video that I forgot to mention which pattern I am doing today, and I will be knitting the Facial Scrubbies pattern by Deborah West. It calls for 100% cotton yarn in an Aran weight, and this is actually the only yarn in my stash that meets those requirements. And it does also call for using 3.75mm needles, but I am going to be using 4mm because I know that I'm a tight knitter, and 4mm is the biggest DPN size that I have. I've also switched my yarn cutter from the Yarn Lover beanie one to Don't Panic because I feel like it's a bit more appropriate for these Vlogmases. I'm going to go with this color today, the creamy color, and let's get started. This is one of those patterns that has been in my stash? In my queue for a long time, and I have just never gotten around to making it, so I thought that was kind of appropriate for what this series is all about for me. What am I doing? Yeah, so this is a free pattern. I encourage you to go and check it out if you are interested in making it. I do have to say that, what do I have to say? Oh, clearly I haven't had enough coffee. I totally distracted myself by adjusting the pattern on my screen just so that it was more visible for me to look at. Oh, yes, of course. I am going to be making an ever so slight modification to how this pattern is done, but it's not that big of a change really. I just want to incorporate, it has a strap basically, and I want to try to do that in the crochet strap that I worked on, whichever Vlogmas day that was that I worked on the crochet strap, which is why I also have a hook here. Yeah, I feel like I should probably be weaving in my ends as I work my single end as I work this first round. You know what, I wonder if I could do something sneaky, like work this first round with the tail. No, I think that's just going to be really annoying. Stop messing about. Oh, and I do have to keep an eye on the time because obviously I do not want that banana bread to burn in the oven. Just concentrating a bit in silence while I work on this first fiddly round. Oops. I'm not very proficient with DPNs, as you can probably tell. Practice makes progress. I wonder if I will need a stitch marker, actually. I could probably use the this tail as the stitch marker, but I'm gonna be lazy. As usual, let's be lazy. But yeah, I was never really good at controlling my ladders when I use DPNs, so that's why I prefer what am I doing? That's why I prefer whatchamacallit. Yeah, that was why primarily when I work socks, well, what am I trying to say very, very clumsily here? My preferred method of working socks was magic loop, 2 at a time magic loop, partly because I just wasn't very good at using DPNs. And especially at managing or, you know, not having ladders when I work with DPNs. So I have found other ways, like using 2 circulars to get away with not using DPNs, but it's not like I have a real, it's not like I really hate working with them. I'm just very, very much not used to them. And this is very fiddly, but it does warn you that in the pattern it says this is the most fiddly part until you are a couple of rows in. I actually wonder if I'll have an easier time of it if I chuck in a, what is this, the fifth dippin. Oh, I've been forgetting to weave in my ends. Whoops. Let's keep doing it the bodgy way that I was doing it before. Since I was planning to make banana bread today, I really shouldn't have gone and gotten myself a cinnamon roll. But I have very bad self-control when it comes to sweets. It's clear to see why I am not making progress in my weight loss plans. But I encouraged my partner to get a cinnamon donut, and then of course I had to get something for myself. was pretty good though. Of course, when I had it, my little quarter piece, because that's as much as I want to eat in one sitting at a time. I popped it into the microwave for, what did I do, like was it just like 15 seconds or something like that? I probably could have done it a little bit more because I kind of like it when the icing melts a little bit and gets soaked up into whatever the tasty treat is. But it is fine. What is the time? I'll probably check the banana bread in like 15 minutes. Remind me, if I'm still sitting here in 20 minutes, please yell at me. No, what am I doing? Yeah, this is a pretty nice and simple pattern, but I've looked up like these face scrubby type things before, and I do feel like, well, I mean, this was a while ago that I looked for this kind of a pattern. So I'm sure that since then there are other options that I would like, but this one of the main things that I really like about the pattern is that it has a little strappy thing, like it's not just the round, like it's got a strap over the back of it for you to hook your fingers into so that it doesn't slip, which I think is really handy. And I was thinking about it last night actually. I was wondering if instead of a strap, would it be even handier to have it like almost like a pocket, so that if you make one round and then you make a half round, a semicircle, then it's really not gonna slip around. But I think, at least for this first one that I make, I should see if I like it and if I'm going to use it first, and if I feel like it needs that extra bit of security, because it's probably fine as it is, really. I do feel a bit I feel a bit bad for this yarn, that I'm going to I'm making it into something that is just basically going to get dirty, and that is its purpose. I probably would have been better off using the blue yarn actually, because this is such a nice cream, and I'm just gonna dirty it up. Not that I wear makeup that often, as you can probably tell from my videos. And I do have reusable cloths that I use to remove my makeup the few times that I wear it. But you know, it's always fun to make your own. And I don't really like the ones that I have, not because they don't work well. They do work well. I don't like them because they're hot pink, and I'm not really a fan of hot pink. And it really doesn't matter, it's just like a cleansing pad that gets dirty. It doesn't matter what color it is, but at the time when I was looking for a reusable one, and I was looking up reviews and blah blah blah, the one that I felt like had like decent reviews and was at a good price point only came in hot pink. It really doesn't matter. Why do we have these color preferences? It's funny though, because when I was younger, I really liked pink. I don't know if I've said this before, but when my parents bought their first house, it's actually the same house that they're still living in, they let us each choose a color to paint a feature wall in each of our bedrooms, and I chose a light pink, which is just so un-me now. I'm not that opposed to pink really. I have some pink and peachy tops, and I recently bought like an earthy pink jacket, but I quite like the earthy pink color actually. And the top that I have is kind of like a pastel pink, although according to when I did the color thing, what's it called, the color analysis, is that what it's called? Hang on, what am I up to here? When I did my color analysis, was it last year or was it earlier this year? I have a feeling it was last year, but they had said that pastel weren't the most suitable for me. It's not that pastel-y pink actually, the top that I have that I'm thinking of. I was very amused / interested to learn though that black actually doesn't suit me. It just brings out shadows or something on my face, so it just makes me look dark and tired. But the thing is, I have black hair. So I'm always going to have some kind of black framing me. I guess the point though is if I can avoid it, then I don't want to be framing my face on all sides with black. Because then that really like emphasizes that effect or heightens that effect of creating shadows even more. I have lots of black clothes. I'm a Melbourne girl. We wear black a lot, so they say. And black is one of those colors that I feel like it's just generally taken to be flattering on everyone, like it works on everyone. And I can still wear black. I mean, I can wear whatever I want. I don't have to follow what the analysis thing told me. But the idea is that if you do want to wear black and you can, then it would help to put another color in between your face and the black. So if I'm wearing a black top or a jumper or whatever, then if I can wrap a scarf or something around my neck that is a complementary color, then the black isn't going to have that same effect of causing shadows on my face. That's the idea. Time is it? 5 minutes. I'll give myself 5 more minutes. For once I'm just like whipping along on this project. Haven't made any mistakes, haven't needed to start over. Knock on wood, knocking on my head there. My DPNs are wood, knock on wood. Can't really knock on a DPN. Doesn't really work. What did I just do? This yarn is what I have left over from knitting an optical, one of those like magical optical illusion blankets. What are they called again? Is it like shadow knitting or something? Oh wow, I can't remember. Anyway, the pattern that I had made from this was a paid for pattern. It was like a giant teddy bear and it was really good. It came out really well. It was for one of my besties, Bebes, and I have seen her use it, which makes me so happy. Like I'll catch up with her and it'll be draped over the pram. So nice to see it getting used. And that is the second, I'm just gonna call it shadow knitting because I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That's the second shadow knitting project I had done. The first one was a free pattern, which was something to do with stars. And that one I made out of some other yarn, a gradient yarn that was like, I think it had microfiber in it. I can't remember what else. And because I was new to it and I didn't really like understand it completely, I think I knit it at too loose of a gauge. I mean, it worked and it was totally fine, but I think the effect would have been a lot clearer if I had knit it at a tighter gauge. But then it wouldn't have quite as much of the drape. I think I will finish this round and then I will go and poke a skewer into that banana bread and see how it's going. According to the recipe, which was from the Hummingbird Bakery cookbook, it's got to be in the oven for an hour and there's about 15-20 minutes left to go. But I do find that with my oven I usually end up having to leave it in for a fair bit longer, maybe like another 10-15 minutes or so. I'm glad I split this up onto all of the needles, 4 needles instead of 3, because otherwise I don't think these DPNs would be quite long enough. But yes, start again. The Hummingbird Bakery banana bread used to be my go-to recipe for making banana bread, but then I discovered a sourdough banana bread recipe from something carrot, some online sign, something carrot. Anyway, it's really good. It's a really, really, really good recipe. And I know that you can convert recipes from being so in the past I have converted recipes that didn't use sourdough, that weren't for sourdough, into recipes that are for sourdough. But I am not confident in converting a recipe that does use sourdough into a recipe that doesn't use sourdough. So, and the reason why I couldn't make that sourdough recipe that I really like is because I let my starter die earlier this year. I kind of forgot about it, and I didn't put it away properly. I don't think I didn't mix enough flour into it to keep it dry. said I would just do one more row, but I seem to just still be knitting. It'll be fine. Like I said, odds are it will need to stay in the oven longer anyway, and it's not even up to the time when I would be taking it out. It'd be pretty neat if I managed to finish this pattern actually in less than the time than what it is, in less than the time it takes for that banana bread to finish baking. So ideally, I would finish this knitting portion. And then I would go check on the banana bread. And then I would come back and make the strap. I would crochet the strap on. And then the banana bread will be ready. That would be ideal. I did put a lot more walnuts in it than I usually do, because I felt like finishing the bag of walnuts, but I feel like I could have used half the amount that I used and saved the other half for another loaf. But I don't know, I kind of just felt like using it up. The Hummingbird Bakery recipe doesn't actually call for walnuts. I just like my banana bread with walnuts in it. And actually, the sourdough recipe doesn't call for adding in spices. I think it just uses vanilla essence, but I like my banana bread with spices, so I add spices to it. And the Hummingbird Bakery only calls for spices. It doesn't call for vanilla essence or vanilla extract, but I think the sourdough recipe does call for vanilla extract. So for both recipes, I'm adding like an extra bit of flavor that they don't call for. And I think it tastes pretty good. So my banana bread is flavored with vanilla extract and cinnamon and whatever other gingery type-ish spice that I have. I used to put in so the Hummingbird Bakery recipe calls for cinnamon and ginger powder, but because I had it in the pantry, I would put in cinnamon and mixed spice, I think it is called, which has cinnamon and ginger and probably like cloves and who knows what else, some other things in there. And then now that I have run out of that for today's banana bread recipe, I put in cinnamon and a spice blend called Raja's Majestic Masala Chai, I think, from my favorite spice shop, Gawer's House. I've probably butchered saying that, but they sell really nice stuff. I have a feeling I've knit this bigger than the pattern called for. Let me just do some counting. I think I knit like an extra 2 rows or something like that. Well, anyway, we will leave that there. I'll check on my banana bread and I will come back. The skewer in the banana bread still came out quite moist, so I think I am safe to leave it there for a good little bit. So let's do a bind off, shall we? I'm just going to do that easy peasy one again, where you knit through the back loop. I still didn't actually look up what that was called, but I don't really need to know. I know how to do it. That's the important thing. The other thing that I sort of wanted the other thing that I wanted to mention today is that I have been thinking that I might sort of tweak. Is that going to be stretchy enough? I think I could do that a bit looser. I'm thinking of adjusting my plans for the projects, some of the projects that I had planned to make, that I had lined up for this Vlogmas. Not that you know what they are, so it doesn't really make a difference to you guys, I guess. Like the thing that I was thinking is that I want to focus on the finishing like little things off. So instead of always doing a new self-contained project, I think there will be a couple of instances at least where I am finishing off a project with you. So for example, the first knit that I worked on in this series was the wheat headband using the Sasawashi yarn, and that has just been sitting on my desk since I filmed that episode, and I fear that it will just languish for months and months and months, if not years, unless I do it as a Vlogmas. That's alright. I probably actually didn't need to try to loosen my bind off there. I think it's going to be fine. Anyway, so I hope you guys don't find that boring when I do that I'm just working on the same thing again. But really, if this was like a knit night and we were knitting together, I wouldn't need to be knitting on something new every single time, because it's more just about crafting together than like a show and tell. And like I always say, these aren't tutorials. I'm not trying to teach you anything or show you really anything new. I'm just crafting with you. So I hope that's alright. So that wheat headband will be one that I will replace something on my list with. I can't even remember what else was on my knit list. Oops. Yeah, I am actually thinking as well, because this is a scrubby, it probably would have benefited from being knit on smaller needles. So if I like using this and I want to make another one, I probably will go for the 3.75mm needles that the pattern calls for. I might even actually go for even smaller, like 3.5, maybe 3.5 mil. Look at that. Why is that so wavy? Doesn't matter, it's just gonna get wet and dirty. Stop being fussy. This feels like the most successful slow craft Vlogmas to date. I shouldn't say that because I'm going to jinx it when I do the next bit where I am going to stray from the pattern. Although I have strayed from the pattern already because I wasn't paying attention to my rows and I knit too many. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't need to fit anything, it's just a face washer, as I keep saying. I could totally just make a big giant one and not have a strap. Although, you know what, actually, I feel like it would be nice to make a big giant one and then do that half circle thing, because then it's kind of like a cleaning mitt. and you can fit your whole, well, not your whole hand, but you could fit enough of your hand in there and not just a couple of fingertips, if you get what I'm saying. I have also changed my stitch project plans for these Vlogmases. The thimble that I made yesterday wasn't on the original list, but like I said, I enjoyed doing the Sashko style Zoken in a previous day so much that I want to continue on with that theme. And there is actually another Zoken that I want to make, but I want to make it a bit differently. So it's not going to be done exactly the same as the one that I made before, and I am giving up on that heavy duty thread for hand stitching. So hopefully it will just go a lot smoother, because I am not trying to use a thread that was not made for that purpose and is very, very unfriendly to use. The thing that I haven't decided, and I will decide before I do any more of that hand stitching, is whether I want to use embroidery thread or other sewing machine thread that isn't heavy duty, like the thread that I used yesterday when I was stitching the thimble. That was just ordinary sewing machine thread, and that was perfectly fine to hand stitch with. Right now I'm leaning towards embroidery thread, just because I have a lot more color options for that, and it will be easier to do things like stitch with 2 or even possibly 3 strands of thread, just so that I can get the stitches more visible. Okay, so, wow, that's gonna, gosh, that's super curly. That's not really gonna work, is it? What am I gonna do about that? Oh, it's like a little crescent. I might actually, because I think that's kind of cute, I might actually just like stitch that as a crescent moon and have that be an ornament. Yeah, I might actually do that. And next time, well, if I try to make this again, I will use smaller needles, which hopefully means it won't wave. I will pay attention and not knit extra rows, and I will do the crochet strap that I had planned, and hopefully it won't be all wavy like this, because I haven't used bigger needles and I haven't done extra rows. I think that would actually be quite cute. Look at that, I've just invented a pattern. There you go, a crescent moon ornament. But before I stitch that up, I am going to check on that banana bread again. It's almost ready, but it's not quite there, so let us stitch this accidental ornament. So, guesstimating about 3 times. Oh, I think that was probably a bit thick of a yarn for my cutter there, but that's all right. I am really glad now that I used the white yarn instead of the blue, because otherwise it wouldn't really be a moon. I don't know what it would be if it was blue. I'm just gonna kind of do this running stitch. Again, it doesn't really matter because this is garter stitch. It's kind of hides the stitching. Oh, I should have, I just realized I should have cut this, this length that I am sewing up with. I should have cut it much longer because I would have liked to do the crochet chain thing that I did for the origami bauble. It would have been good to do the crochet chain loop thing to hang it from again. Wish I'd thought of that. Oh well. And now that this is an ornament, if I'd known that this was going to be an ornament, I totally would have also possibly held this doubled with some metallic gold. I don't have silver, some metallic gold thread that I have. Silver would have been more moon-like, so maybe it's good that I didn't think of it. I'm so amused that this has turned into an accidental ornament. See? Still following my theme of not everything going smoothly, but this is a pretty fun so-called error. If I really wanted to do that crochet chain loop, there's no reason why I can't just attach a new bit of yarn and just do it. Well, there you go. That's it. Now I can just get up in here. Let's see how far I get. I don't know if you heard that, but there was just a whole big lot of skidding outside. Oh, there's someone's... I mean, there wasn't a crash sound at the end of it, but I hope someone hasn't had an accident. Didn't sound like enough for it to be someone doing donuts. But it was a really big, skiddy, screechy noise. You probably couldn't hear it. I just heard my partner grab some keys. Either a delivery has come or he is checking out what that noise was. And then he can tell me. I should do it if I'm going to be lazy about weaving in these endy bits. I should make the chain long enough so that it sits at the top. Let's see. Get in there. I don't want to use this because I don't want to damage that blade, but do I have decent scissors around? Crappy scissors it is. Oops. Long enough to hide my tail. Not quite, almost. Just do this. And that should be plenty. You know what I should do? I really ought to make one of the projects on one of these days using that new cordsmith that I got. Where's this end come from? That's not the end that I just wove in, is it? I think I ought to plan to do that. That would be fun. Ah, that's my beginning end. Let's see if we can just pull it inside. And hopefully it doesn't poke its head back out again. I really should weave in these bits. I think it's just going to be easier if I do this. And then hopefully by the time this is done, my banana bread will be ready. Although I don't know that I'll even feel like it because I had that cinnamon roll, and that's probably enough of a treat for one day. I do like having banana bread for breakfast though. It's a pretty indulgent breakfast, but not as indulgent as like something like pancakes really. When I showed my partner the origami bauble, he claimed it as his immediately and said it was my Christmas present to him. Not fair. And then he gave me an actual lovely felted Christmas ornament as my present. Not fair. We said we weren't going to get each other presents. But I got him one. Don't tell. I'm gonna give it to him at Christmas. Shh. Secret. Ta-da! Accidental moon. case anyone is interested, my partner did go and have a look at what that screeching sound was. We are in a spot where we can walk to somewhere where we can overlook the freeway, and he said it looked like a truck had blown out their tires, because there was one pulled over, and I guess it was just such a long skid because it takes a long time for a truck to come to a halt when driving at 100 kilometers an hour, and I'm actually kind of impressed if they burst a tire and didn't cause any kind of major accident or crash into the barrier. Anyway, let's open Advents. Fluff and Nonsense number 6, day 6. I'm still not very far in my reading of The Hobbit. I only just finished chapter 1 last night. I haven't had a lot of reading time because I have been getting these Advents out late the last couple of days. This one's not, thankfully, and hopefully that's enough of those late ones. But anyway, here we are. Oh, you know what? Actually, wait, let me react to this first. First of all, this is another lovely sort of like caramelly brownie color. The second thought that popped into my head when I saw it is that I'm so amused that yesterday for the 11T1 windmills I opened like a lovely brown caramelly color, and today I have another lovely brown color. Why can't I say that word? It's a lovely brown, and look at that variation there. I really love the higher contrast in this one, how it's got those, like, I mean, they're not super dark browns, but against like the really light tone of most of the yarn, they look quite dark and quite striking and just absolutely lovely. Another beauty. Thanks, Tess. I still have in my head this pattern that I have been thinking about for this Advent, and I'm really excited for it. Anyway, I will leave you there. Thank you so much for joining me for another day, and the least messy day in terms of crafting. Let's hope that continues. Tomorrow is, let's see, so today I did knit, so tomorrow is going to be a mend. Yes, so I'm going to be patching some pants, and so I will see you tomorrow for another mend day. Have a good night.